around the world and across Nigeria. This is still Enterprise Weekend right here on Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Following the decision of the federal government to sign the controversial Samoa agreement, some cleric, right activists and civil society organizations CSOs have queried the move behind the decision of the Nigerian government.
And that's true. Reportedly, the agreement has some clauses that compel underdeveloped and developing nations to support the agitations by the lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender community for recognition, as a condition for getting financial and other support from advanced societies. Named after the Pacific island Samoa, where it was signed on November 15, 2023, the agreement is gradually gaining traction, despite opposition by many countries that cherish Islamic and Christian values, in addition to the sensitivity to their cultures.
Yes, and information about the ratification of the deal by Nigeria came to public knowledge on Monday, July 1, when the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, confirmed the development at a reception organized by the European Union in Abuja. However, when contacted, Bagudu's media assistant Bolaji Adebiyi said that the documents signed by the federal government, which the Minister of Budget made reference to during the reception by the EU, were strictly for the economic development of Nigeria. Still in the studios together to do justice to this very trendy news story is Barrister Fansufeli. Thank you so very much for having me on our stations today. So let's talk about this particular story. We've had several legal luminaries do justice to this particular topic. We'd love to have your take on that.
Yes, the Samoa agreement was one that Nigerian government signed based on the prospects of getting grants and loan as part of the advantage of being a member state to that. Now, if you look at Article 9, 10, and 15, that's where the controversy is. Article 9, 10, and 15 talk about gender equality, talk about sexual orientation, okay, and the likes of sexuality and all that. There is no way where in the agreement that's especially stated that LGBTQ or same-sex marriage and all that. Nowhere expressly mentioned, okay. But sexual orientation and gender rights, okay, when it's coming from the international front, it's very expansive. It goes beyond the literary meaning. And we have signed already. You understand? This was not brought for public debate. This was not presented to us. Nigerians were rather focused on the economic value of this. Well, every agreement the world over comes with terms and conditions. You understand? So that is why Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution says that you cannot domesticate or adopt any international charter or treaty, okay, or domesticate sin where the provisions of that runs contrary to the Constitution or any other law thereof in Nigeria. That's at the time being passed. Okay. Now the federal government came out to say that the agreement, they looked through the agreement and sin was compared or, with the Constitution. They looked through the Constitution and they discovered that there's no part of the agreement, the whole or part thereof, that contradict or contravene any part of the Constitution. Okay, that's what they said. And that it has nothing to do with LGBTQ. That is for developing countries and all that. But Article 9, 10, and 15 have this issue on sexual rights and sexual orientation and all that. So people now say that those clauses has to do with sexual orientation. It has to do with same sex, and we have a law in this country that prohibits same sex, okay, and that we cannot have that kind of agreement just because the federal government is seeking funds or looking for how to get funds to take care of the economy it willingly damaged. It damaged the economy itself. So so the argument has gone far and wide. But one thing, I like the panic. The panic is very interesting. What it means is that people are conscious, so that we are not sold out by our own government. People are conscious. Now, the panic is that if you look at if you apply now based on the Freedom of Information Act, you can actually apply for that document. When you apply for it, we need to go and look at the interpretation section. Every agreement have what they call interpretation section. When a word like gender equality or a word like sexual orientation is used in an agreement, there's a page of that agreement that will tell you the meaning. We call it interpretation section, the meaning of that word or that expression in the context of this agreement. I don't know if you have seen such agreement before. Yeah. So we need to get to that interpretation section. When you say sexual rights and all that, the interpretation will be there. And interpretation is what will determine whether or not they are talking about same-sex or not. The people who do same-sex activities, they don't write it boldly and expressly. You understand? It's a subtle, because it's sensitive. So they first of all throw something first and watch
your reaction.
Yeah, watch your reaction, how you're going to go about it, and all that. Though the gay community within Nigeria, they said there's nothing wrong with such an agreement. It looked like a long-awaited thing. So that nothing is wrong with it. This is that. They were okay. But see, Nigeria has been careful. That's why I said I like the panic. We're being careful because, like Donald Trump spoke the other day, and he said he was talking about the Democrats. In a way, not mentioning them, but saying that we shouldn't have a government that will not adopt to teach the Bible, but that a government that will teach our children 6 hours every day of the week, that they can decide not to be male or female. They can decide to take on anybody they like and all that. You can be nothing and all that. So when you have that kind of government promoting that our children will not be taught that the future will not be secured.
Yeah, because
and it will be worse in Nigeria, where poverty is at the heart of human existence. Then you now bring this same sex thing and be sprinkling it on poor people, and they're adopting it.
Thank you, Barrister Phil. You made a comment that you enjoy the panic, and that is to show that Nigerians are taking note and they don't want to be sold. But in a country where we don't have regulatory bodies, no one wants to hold our leaders to ransom and bring them under checks and balance. I don't know if we still have watchdogs in the country as of now, because I know far back we do have watchdogs. But at this point, we don't have people to hold our leaders. Do you think the panic would, in a way, bring about any change, even though they've signed?
No, of course, they are rattled already. As we are doing analysis like this, they are rattled. I mean, they came out after the Daily Trust publication. The federal government came out to defend it, that no, it has nothing to do with it and all that. But, like I would make my own application this week through the Freedom of Information Act for the full agreement. So that I will look at the interpretation section before I even do my own article on the issue. Because if the West, if they start to tell you about sexual orientation, it's deep. You need to know what sexual orientation means in the context of this thing. It's wide. So if you have signed already and you are now defending it as an afterthought, you are dragging 200 and something million people. You went to sign an agreement on behalf of 200 and something million people without their knowledge. How are you going to enforce it? Even if you have signed, we can unsign it. Yes. If we occupy everywhere, they will pull out from it. So they should not, the one they did to us when they removed subsidy to punish 200 million people is enough. We won't go into, if it has anything to do with same sex or anything, people will disagree. People who do same sex, you don't do same sex under poverty. You can't do it. It will not work. So in these places where they get married, where government officials, male and male, will get married, you should see it now.
Yeah.
A priest will come. The priest will come with a limousine.
Yeah. It's often very classy, actually.
Very classy.
Yeah.
It's expensive. Yeah. So how do you want to introduce poor people into it? You want to shut down the world? So I don't think this. Let it be true that the federal government have said it has nothing to do with it. But at least let it also send a message to countries that are that. The last time that we had that interface was with the Obama government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Goodluck
Goodluck Jonathan, when they refused to sell arms to Nigerians. We suffered it, but we came out from it. So we have an identity. We have a way of life. So we don't drag us into this kind of thing. Those people who say that they are born that way, well, me, I will not support any of this. If you are born that way, go and get born again. Or go and reborn or go and do something. I don't know what you are going to do.
All right. Yeah. In as much as we admit the fact that we're still it's a developing story, and as time goes on, would understand better. But the federal government said the agreement itself was signed 7 months ago. The reason why they didn't participate in signing it at the time was because they needed enough leeway to study the agreement. And they say they have studied the agreement to understand that there's no loophole in it as against our constitution.
No public,
yes, there wasn't any public, debate and all. But if the government said it took them 7 months to do that, don't you think that's enough time with the best hands to look into that? And therefore, Nigerians shouldn't cry foul at the end of the day.
Why did they use that same energy to study the subsidy issue? Whether it will work to remove it with 7 months. Should have done that too now. Because now they are trying to tell us that they are very proactive. That's what they are trying to do now. But they are not. Because we can give them examples of failures, that things they have failed, policies they have failed in. You did that one. Why did it take 7 months also to look at the floating of the naira? Whether it's going to cause hardship before they do it. They did it. They want to now defend and give us the proactive editing. You can't do that to us. So you can't. All your decisions since you assume office have been negative and wrong. So not this one now, because people are crying now and say this is an immoral issue. They are not saying that it took you 7 months. I don't believe that too.
Okay, Barrister Philly, thank you. Now, in a country where our leaders are not looking at making the country a producing nation or trying to be self-sufficient on its own, how long do you think they'll be able to withhold and be strong enough to stand their ground to say no? Because
you can't stand your ground now. When you are not, you will be looking at the funds you are going to make.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how long
That's
are
the
they going
attraction.
to do? How long are they going to do? Because this have been ongoing from Jonathan's regime to when we get to know about it.
Yes.
Now it's how many years
Down the line.
down the line. How long do you think they'll be able to hold it? Because definitely our country, our leaders would need more funds.
We need money.
They will need money continuously.
We need money. Well, as long as we're not doing the right thing to get it, we'll continue to be going up and down, looking for agreement all over the world that we'll sign so that we'll get money. Because we have the potential, but even the arms and ammunition that Obama refused to sell to us that time, why are we not producing arms and ammunition here? Why are we not producing it? What does it take to really? We have all the materials, raw materials, iron ore, we have everything. Even the explosive, we have what do you call it? All the explosive materials, we have it. So we should have been able to produce it here. We're not producing it. We're not even producing enough food. Okay, let alone technology. So as long as we are not doing the right thing, we're not growing. We'll continue to look for agreement everywhere, even the one that will be passed to us by some forces and spirits. We'll look for it, we'll sign it, then we'll come and now defend it. We'll now say it's good. They didn't mention it. Who told you they didn't mention it? They say sexual orientation. Do you know what sexual orientation mean from the context of the West? Or when you say gender equality, do you know what it means in the context of that and all that? So we have seen how these things work. One thing I know is that if it ever contains anything about you should not introduce it to the poor. Don't go there. Don't do that. So let's leave you. We have enough in our hands already. Why didn't the federal government go look for agreements to sign that will extinguish Boko Haram or that will extinguish kidnapping and all these vices we have, or the one that will reverse subsidy? There are investments in all over the world now. Why should you go and be looking for the one that have something on? If they are going to take down the article 9, 10, and 15, that robs the agreement of, because the agreement ordinarily, we should even look at what it means for climate change. Yes, directed to climate change and the rest of it. You sign in, you become a member state. The huge fund that is actually given to member states to, keep their environment in a way that it will be appealing and then protect the world. That's what it's about. You understand? Does this government, do they look like government that will use that money to do any environment? People are defecating on the expressway as we speak. The government have not said anything about it.
And
they are going to sign, they are going to sign agreements. So there's some more agreements about climate change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So finally, just before we let you go, let's take a look at the LGBTQ community in Nigeria. I'm not sure. Maybe you might give us instances to this fact. Do you think anyone has been prosecuted yet since that particular law was signed? Number one. Number two, isn't this a direct moral boost for the LGBTQ plus community in Nigeria?
People have been arrested. People have been arrested when this law was passed. But no one have been really prosecuted and convicted. No, people are being prosecuted, but I've not seen any conviction. You understand? Because it's to also prove it, that because you saw two guys or two women, it automatically means that they're having an affair, a sexual affair. You have to put evidence to. Because this one was just sense. People can be wanking in the act every day and you'll not be able to prove it. When we get to court, it's a different thing. It will be easy to even prove rape and prove that. Yes, because they are going to consider medical evidence to find out whether they are having sex. And same-sex marriage, you don't know where penetration is coming from, whether it's from the anus, from the mouth, from the ear, from the whatever, from the nose. So when you are carrying out your medical examination, which of the holes of the body are you going to check?
So we don't have enough forensic technology to determine that.
This is because when we enter the legal side of it, everybody will be exonerated. Everybody will be exonerated. So I mean, but we shouldn't just try it. This thing is not for the poor. It's an elitist evil. It's not a poverty-induced practice. No, don't bring it out at all. Let's just stay the way we are. Depending when things get better. That's what I think.
Yes. All right. Choma, some Nigerians would call this a bait. And the Nigerian government will call it an opportunity, to restore our economy to what it used to be before. But no matter what it is, wrong is not something that's not right. It's actually not right, and I think it's an opportunity for us as Nigerians to come against it. And of course, most importantly, because it's not part of our constitution and it's not part of our morals as Nigerians. Don't you think so?
Yeah, it's true. And you don't sit on the fence. You're either
here or there. All right. Well, that's just about the time we have. We'd love to say thank you to Pastor Van Sofeli for being part of our show today. Thank you for the insight and the clarification. We truly do value your time. But most importantly, we'd love to say thank you to you for making out your time every other day to be part of our show today. We appreciate it. And we'd love to say please do visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwibike.
And I'm Choma Okonya.
On behalf of the entire team, I'd love to say thank you so very much, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.